All right, today we're tackling a question that, let's be honest, a lot of us have felt deep in our bones. Why does school hurt so much? We're going to dig into why it can feel so painful, what skills the system actually rewards, and how the arrival of AI is about to flip the entire table.
So, let's kick things off with a pretty powerful image. If you go to a university campus in Asia, say Peking University or Shanghai Jiaotong, you'll see something curious. Students praying before exams. But this isn't just, a simple wish for good luck. It's a sign of something much, much deeper going on.
And this quote, wow, it just nails it. It's this feeling of enduring this incredible, immense suffering without really understanding why you're suffering. You're putting in all this work, all this stress, but for what? It's like you're trapped inside this giant grinding machine, and nobody ever told you what the machine is for.
So, this crisis of meaning, this feeling of just being stuck, what do you even call that? When you're smart, you're capable, but you just can't find the will to do anything. Well, there's actually a name for it, and it explains exactly why so many brilliant students just check out.
It's called willingness paralysis. And let me be super clear, this is not laziness. Not at all. It's what happens when your innate abilities, your initial stats like in a video game, are never, ever used or validated. Think about it. Motivation isn't something you just magically have, it's a response. When you do something and get positive feedback, you want to do more of it. But if this system never rewards what you're naturally good at, your brain basically just shuts down the will to act department.
I mean, just look at why we love games, right? A game is designed to find what you're good at. Maybe it's fast reflexes, maybe it's clever strategy, and it rewards you for it, instantly. You get points, you level up, it creates this awesome feedback loop that makes you want to keep going. School, on the other hand, well, for a lot of us, it's the total opposite. Your unique talents aren't tested, or worse, they're seen as a distraction. The feedback is often negative, and the result? You just want to hit the quit button.
And here's the crucial point, the real takeaway from this first part. The problem isn't the students, it's the game. The game they're forced to play is broken because its rules, the whole standardized testing system, are just incredibly, incredibly narrow.
All right, so if the game is that narrow, what exactly are the rules? What is it really testing? To understand that, we have to peel back the curtain and look at the hidden mechanics of the whole system.
Okay, so think of any exam as having two layers. There's the surface layer, which is all the subjects you're learning. History, math, English, you name it. On the surface, it looks pretty diverse, right? But then there's the core. This is what the test is actually measuring underneath it all. And let me tell you, what's under the hood is a very, very different story.
So when you actually break down what these subjects are testing for, a really shocking pattern shows up. You've got all these different classes, right? Chinese, history, geography, math, physics. But look at the core skills. It's overwhelmingly memory. For subjects like history and English, it's like 90% just raw memorization. Even for things like math and physics, which you'd think are all about logic, at least half of it is just memorizing formulas and how to solve certain types of problems.
And this obsession with memory creates something really dangerous, the myth of effort. See, because memorizing is something you can improve with sheer brute force, students learn that just trying harder and harder is the key to success. This creates this false belief that this is how the whole world works. But it's a trap. It completely ignores that real talent, actual innate abilities, play a huge role in life.
This system is so narrow, it literally shapes people's entire career paths. And this quote, it's a bit harsh, but it really makes you think. It says most humanities students aren't there because they were selected for their skills in that area. They're there because they were deselected. They just couldn't hack the intense demands of math and physics. They're sorted, not chosen.
Okay, so we've established the system is way too narrow. So what should we be focusing on? What are the abilities that actually matter for, a good life? Let's check out a better framework.
Now, here's a much more complete picture of what makes us human. We've got 8 core abilities, things like expression, perception, hands-on skills, and our school system? It basically focuses on just 2 of them, memory and deduction. Everything else pretty much gets left in the dust.
And this is probably the single biggest failure of the whole system. Because if you look at anyone who's truly at the top of their game, in any field, doesn't matter what, there are 2 abilities that are absolutely non-negotiable: passion and creativity. And what are the 2 things our testing system has absolutely no way to measure? Yep, passion and creativity. It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Okay, so we've got this outdated system that's already failing us. But now we're at a massive turning point. Because the rise of AI isn't just a small challenge to the system, it's an existential threat. It's about to make the whole thing obsolete.
You have to remember, our modern education system was built for the industrial age. Its purpose was simple: train humans to be like machines, standardized, efficient, good at repetitive tasks. Basically, it was creating parts for a giant economic engine. But now, we're not competing with each other for those jobs anymore. We're competing with actual machines, and that changes everything. The new goal can't be to act like a machine. It has to be to cultivate the skills a machine can't do. So, let's think about this for a second. What happens when the single most important skill in this entire system, the one thing it's been rewarding for 100 years,
Is memory. And suddenly memory becomes something a machine can do perfectly, instantly, and for almost no cost. What happens then? The whole system's foundation just crumbles. Its main product just became worthless.
So what does an AI-proof education even look like? Well, it's not about just sticking an AI tutor in every classroom. It's a total revolution. We need to go from silent, orderly rooms to chaotic, expressive ones. We need to stop solving fake problems in a textbook and start tackling real, messy problems in the world. And maybe the biggest shift of all, we have to stop trying to mold students into a predefined shape and start helping them discover the unique shape they were born with. And that brings us to the final, and honestly, the most important idea of all. If standardized skills are becoming worthless, how do you find your unique value? The answer, funnily enough, might come from a really old concept.
So our system is designed to produce what you might call pillar talent. Straight, uniform, reliable, perfect for being a cog in the machine. But the problem with being a pillar is that you're a commodity. If there are a million other pillars just like you, your value plummets. The future, though, belongs to what's called the useless tree. It's the gnarled, crooked, unconventional tree that no one can turn into lumber. And its value lies exactly in that fact. It's unique. It's irreplaceable. And history is packed with these useless trees. Look at figures like Li Shizhen or Song Yingxing. By the standards of their time, they were failures. They couldn't pass the big, standardized tests. So what did they do? They quit that broken game. And by following their own weird, unique paths, they ended up creating things that literally changed the course of history.
But here's the great, tragic irony of it all. The moment one of these useless trees becomes a huge success, we slap a new label on them. We call them a pillar of society. And then we point them out to our kids and say, see, you should be like them, while forcing our kids down the exact same standardized path that these geniuses had to abandon to become great in the first place. It's a totally backward way of thinking.
So what's the takeaway? The real journey isn't about grinding your way through the maze to find the exit. It's about having the courage to look around and realize you were never supposed to be in a maze to begin with. The goal isn't just to see the world. It's to become a part of its scenery. The question is, what kind of scenery will you become?